In this video, we're going to learn how to use the alignment and the distance apart dimension to make our lives a lot easier when we're trying to add more complexity to an object. So I've got this like tabletop thing here, and I've got a sphere that on another video I aligned directly in the middle. But let's say I decide this is going to be a table, and I want to have legs on my table. Well, any good table is going to have legs that are equidistant apart. So that is the challenge. Like, how do I put a leg here and here and here and here and have them all be exactly right on this table without being very frustrated trying to move them barely into position, which is possible, but we want to avoid that. We want to do things quickly, and we want to do things without getting frustrated. So the first thing I'm going to do is make one chair leg, and let's do that with the cylinder. So I'm going to grab the cylinder, and clearly it's really big, and as we learned in the last video, that's okay because I can make this really small really fast. Let's just make these, let's start with 2 by 2. And I know this is 5.3, so let's just make this one 5.3. In the other video, I made the table 5.3 above the ground. So when I angle in here and kind of move around and look, there we go. But obviously, this is a lot thicker than I want it to be. So let's do this. Let's move this out away from the table. I don't want to work with it under the table. So let's move it over here. There we go. So let's make this thing a lot smaller. So we're going to go up here and let's just make this 0.5 by 0.5. Good. So that'll work. Now, here is the challenge. How do I make 4 of these so they're in the exact right spot on this table? Well, that's going to be a trick that we're going to learn. And this is going to save you a ton of time making things in Tinkercad. Now I need 4 legs, so obviously I have to duplicate this one here, but I'm only going to duplicate this one one time. And the reason why is, again, I want to make things as simple as possible. So let's go ahead and it says make sure this is selected, and I'm going to go up to the little duplicate button, and that duplicates it, and I'll use my little arrow keys to move this apart. Now, I could try to like figure out exactly by eyeballing it where this needs to be, but I really don't want to do that. So what I need to do really is just use a little bit of math, easy math. So, and again, I think I said this in the other video, it's very good to use whole numbers, even numbers, easy numbers, not complex numbers. So this one here is 18 by 18. So let's do 18 by 18. We'll start there. So we're going to make this one and this one have to be basically 18, we'll go with inches apart. Now, what I have to do here, if I select one, and then I go to click on Shift and select the other, now I have them both selected. Now, if I click here, notice my dimension appears again. This 10.5 is how far they are apart. So I'm going to just make them 18 apart. Good. So now they're 18 apart. And I'm going to go ahead and grab them both, and I'm going to group them together. It's always nice to group things together. And I do notice an issue, then I'll solve that in a minute. But let's just take my little arrow keys and move this one kind of into position and see if it's going to look right. Now, this is not my permanent resting place for this, but it's pretty close. So this is right on the edge. And remember, if you think about a regular table, these legs are not going to be right on the edge. They're going to be close to the edge, but not right on the edge. So what I'm going to do instead is make this one, let's just go 17. 17. There we go. So 17 is probably going to be okay. So now I just need to make the other legs. So let's do that. Instead of, well, also I'm going to do this. These are grouped together, but I'm going to ungroup them. And I noticed when I did this that, oops, go here, there we go. But now this is 0.81 and this is 0.5. So let's go and change this back to 0.5. And let's change this one back to 0.5. And let's select one. I'm going to hold Shift and select the other. That. And let's see how far apart. So they're 16.69 apart. That's going to be fine. We're going to leave it at that, and we're going to group these guys together. Good. Now, we've got a group. I can duplicate this group now, which is what I'm going to do. So let's go up here and duplicate the group. And I'm going to use my arrows to move them apart. And now I've got two groups. So what I need to do is make these guys 16.69 distant. So this group is selected. Now I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to select this group. So now I've got two groups that are selected. So let's make this one 16.69 like that. And I notice I have the same problem as I did before. Let's go here and make this 5. This one 5. So I've got these table legs, which again aren't 100% perfect, but they're going to be pretty good. So now let's group all of these together. Good. So I've got these grouped together. Now I need to put these under this table. Now here's something that I'm going to show you that is pretty good. This is pretty handy. So this I want to keep blue. This I want to keep red, but I want to group everything together. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to group together these objects. And as we know from Tinkercad, when we do that, they're all the same color, which is pretty lame. But that's actually okay for right now, because what I'm going to do is come over here, just kind of put these nearby. I'm going to grab all of these, go to my Align tool. Let's look at it from the top, and I'm going to align here and here. That looks good. So that's aligned. And now when I click on this grouped thing here and ungroup it, watch what happens. The colors come back. That's really handy. So a lot of times you have things you don't want to group together because the colors are all going to mesh together. That's okay. If you need to group things together to move them or to do something with them, just ungroup them when you're ready to, and all the colors will come back. So now I have a table that has got perfectly aligned legs. It looks nice with a perfectly aligned sphere in the middle.